going to continue our tradition of having our many 4-H kids lead us in the pledge to the American flag and the 4-H pledge. Right? Ready, guys? Hands for surface. Heather Jellybean. For my club, my community, my country, and my world. One nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Great job.
We'd like to thank Joey Maple, Deborah Winslow, Valerie Smith, and Albert Johnson for those pledges. On behalf of the Greentown Lions Club and the Howard County Extension Board, I'd like to welcome you to the 2022 4-H Goat Show. Our judge today is Philip Pether. He lives at Red Gate Farm outside of Franklinton, Indiana. Together, this family, they've managed to herd 4 herd goats, many Hereford show cattle, and 12 porcine dogs. The mission at Red Gate Farm is to breed top quality show stock and well breeds and stripes. As of 2022, Red Gate Farm has over 50 national titles. Phil is the past president of the Indiana Board Goat Association. He also judges cattle and ultimate showmanship contests. Phil enjoys working with the 4-H youth throughout the United States. His goal is to educate the youth on showmanship and animal husbandry. We're very proud to be an American, and we greatly honor him as we get our 4-H here today. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome him to Howard County. Please. Our first class today will begin with our 4 does, our junior does, class 1 for those between 0 and 3 months of age. Again, 4 does, junior doe class, 0 to 3 months of age.
Well, thank you all for having me. We're going to start out with this young man's doe. One's just more complete, bigger bone, bigger than that cannon bone when you analyze the two. She's definitely stouter with a lot more mass about her being younger. And when you analyze her from the spine through, she's longer in that hip and carries that hip with more length. And with the breeding doe, you need that balance from nose to tail, and she balances up really nice. If I could give her a little more depth of body, that'd be nice, but she's still very immature, carrying a lot of mass and bone. The one that comes in second, she is very deep in her body type. She gets just a little plain around the head, and what concerns me is that folded ear on the right side as far as breeding standards. We'd like to correct that. Where she has that mass, she just gets really short coupled in that hip. And I'd like to lengthen that hip out to balance up the rest of her body, but still a nice pair of does. Let's give them a nice round of applause. They did a great job.
Placing first at class was Kristen Stockberger. Second was Danielle Stetson. Our next class of Bordeaux, Junior Doe, are those animals between 3 and 5 months of age.
We have a single entry, but this is one that's long body, long neck, really feminine through that front end. I like her design over her spine, depth of body. Where she does concern me, talk to a young man about it, she's just a little soft in those rear pasterns. We like to have that just a little more erect, but she carries that weight really nice distribution-wise. Just a really good, powerful doe. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together. This young man did a great job.
That last goat was brought in by Hunter Boxell. Our next class of Bordeaux, Junior Doe class, are those animals between 6 and 9 months of age.
Another high quality single entry. This is one that's really feminine through that front end. You can see she's a doe coming in, but a lot of power through that front. Big bone, big cannon bone, really good on her feet and legs. Really correct on the back side. You see how wide she is, the muscling coming in that inner thigh, just carries a lot of mass. I love the pigmentation, correct in that head, nice go. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together for this young man. Did a great job.
That last animal was shown by Kristen Stockberger. The last class of Junior Does are those animals between 9 and 12 months of age.
Well, this is our 9 to 12-month-old doe. It's a single entry also, and we'll be getting ready for that junior drive. And this is a doe that's really long and extended throughout, good on her feet and legs. I would like to give her some more width and dimension, but she's really long spine, long hip. Maybe bring that pin set out just a little bit wider on that back end, and we will see a more correct hock as she goes to the ground. But still a nice doe. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause.
That last hill is in by Little Bucket. This time we're showing for junior champion, followed by reserve champion.
Nice junior division as we have looked at the 0 to 3 all the way to a year-old doe. There's two out here in my mind that brings a more complete package. Got that beautiful Roman head about them, really extended through that neck, a lot of muscling throughout, big in that chest and chest floor, carries a lot of width and dimension to that point area. Impacts a really nice hind leg. You know, here in America, we haven't caught on to the goats yet. We're importing 450 million ton of goat meat to satisfy the needs of the goat world. It is the #1 eaten meat in the world. And if you like meat, or steak, say steak, or a really sweet piece of meat, goat is a very tender and lean meat. It's very delicious. And we name all of our goats before we put them in the freezer, just like we do our cattle. So we know who's there and what we fed them. And they are really good to have around the house. They're really nice with the kids. We're down to the 3rd generation with the 4 goats, and our grandkids are showing them. And it's just been a fabulous experiment for us. There's 2 out here. I'll get your champion and your reserve. So let's put our hands together one time for all these exhibitors that did a great job in this junior division.
Our junior champion was Tristan Stockburger, as well as our reserve champion. Our next class will be our yearling does. Those animals those animals are between 12 and 16 months of age. Again, yearling does, 12 and 16 months of age.
We're going to start with this young man's spot. When she walks in, she pretty well commands the ring. She has the most width and dimension about her throughout. She's definitely deeper in that rear flank. The head and neck is really nice and feminine, and that Roman nose, just exceptional. When you get right behind her, though, is where she powers anything we've seen so far today. She's got so much width and dimension in that, from the hip down in that hock, in that rear leg. On the inner side, outer side, just a really muscular dove. What the breeding industry needs right now, a ton of bone. To me, she looks a lot like a hog right now walking in, but she is beautiful. Profiling and on the move, congratulations, nice go. Goat that comes in second, the red dove. This is one that comes out with a really long, projected body. Love that femininity and that length of neck that comes out of the top of the shoulders, right where it needs to be. Really smooth in that shoulder the way it lays. We just need some more width and dimension about her. Really long in that hip. Just more width throughout, but a nice dove. The young man that comes in third, 007, I guess he is. We call him Bond, James Bond. No, this is a nice doe. Very functional, a good long spine, a lot of rib about her. I just need more capacity and maybe a little more bone size when we analyze the two ahead of her, but still a nice trio. Let's put our hands together for all three exhibitors. Great job.
Placing first, Tristan Stockburger, second, Madison Wyrick, and third, Aiden Carpenter. Our next class coming in are those animals between 16 and 20 months of age.
I think when we start looking at the muscle and the overall package, the one that comes to the top just definitely has the most mass throughout. Comes at us with a really wide chest floor, elegant through that front end, really wide and bold in that rib shape. I love the width that she carries from that hip to pin, and where she excels is right there in that pin set. As wide as she's standing right now and those hocks are still true, that tells me that pin set up here by the tailhead is where it needs to be. And a lot of times in the Bourgoat world right now, when that pin set is too narrow, that's where the babies have a hard time getting out. And it's right there at the end of the birthing canal, and that's when the death happens. And so we need to make sure that that pin set is as wide as that hip is, so that birth canal does not get restricted here, where they're just a few inches away from getting through the entire process. So if we keep that pin set wide, that also corrects the hock. And I know I've been told by a lot of different breeders, well, when those hocks are in, we need to trim the hooves. The hooves have nothing to do with where those hocks sit. It's all from the spine down, from the hip to pin. And if that pin is wide enough, that hock will be true. Just a really good go. If I can lengthen her out just a tick, ideal. Congratulations though. Goat that comes in second. This is one that has that maternal look about her, really extended through that front, large capacity in that rib. We just like to give her some more width and dimension and a lot more muscling compared to our first place goat. The one that comes in third, she's just a little tired, isn't she? But that's okay. This is one that's elevated off the ground, really long spine. We'd like to get her maybe in production as soon as possible because they're at that age. This one just needs more mass and muscle throughout, a little more bone, but still a nice trio. Let's put our hands together for these. They did a great job.
And that last class, Flex first, Chris Stockberger, second, Senator Boxel, and third, Kelsey Avery. Our next class of individuals are between 20 and 24 months of age.
Well, I really like both of these goats for different reasons. They are not the same in any way. But you look at the one that wins the class, she definitely has the most width through that front end. You carry that top, and she's just explosive in that loin. It's hard to span how wide that loin is with my hand, and I didn't get a good feel of that hip, and you can tell by that hawk just how wide she is into that hip. Carries a lot of rear muscle. Beautiful through that head and neck. Just a really good goat. Congratulations. Goat that comes in second. This is one that's really stout. Like that about her. Really like that front end and how extended she is and how true and level she is over her top. Where she gets just a little outranked here, I'd like to lower that flank just a little bit in that rear side and give her some more inner thigh muscle on the back side. I love how correct she is on her feet and legs. Just needs a little more power throughout, but still a nice doe. Just put our hands together for this couple. Did a great job.
Christian Stockberger had both first and second place in last class. We're now be showing for yearling champion, followed by reserve yearling champion. Again, our next class is yearling champion, followed by reserve yearling champion.
Well, this is your yearling division. We got the 12 to 16 in the front, 16 to 20 in the middle, and then 20 to 24 here in the back side. By the time they get to 2 years of age in the ABGA world, they should have kidded or at least showed signs of kidding, and we're right up against that with this age group here on the back end. The three on the front are really quite a bit alike in a lot of ways. They're really stout made. They're really long over that top end, really wide, extreme width on that top side. There is some difference when it comes to the bone and the cannon bone. We look at that, we've said it a couple times, the cannon bone is from the knee to the pastern on the front leg. And when that goat walks in, it's the same way with hogs and cattle, depending on the circumference and the length will indicate how big that animal is going to get at maturity. So right out of the gate, as a baby, you can tell what that goat's going to be like or have it projected on the stoutness it's going to be from that cannon bone. And so when I see that big bone come in and I see the body behind it, you have something pretty special. Now the length of it, the taller it is, of course, the more height they're going to have when they get to that mature age. These goats here in the last year or two have really got shorter made, a lot squattier, and to me, they just need to be elevated a little more than what where they used to be back when they came in 1993. The bucks will be around 450 pounds, 480 pounds at mature weight. Now they're having a hard time reaching that 400-pound mark because they've shrunk them down so short. The does would be all the time over 300 pounds. And when our children was showing, we had 8 or 10 that was 320 pounds. That was the average weight in our barn for our does. So we need to get back to that standard where that mass, that bone is at. And we actually have a couple in here that is showing us that bone, showing us that stoutness, but still in a feminine package. They're still does. And that's the good part about these animals. I'll get your champion and your reserve, but let's put our hands together for these 6. Great job in this yearly division.
Showing the champion and reserve champion was Christian Stockberger. Congratulations to him. If you have a program, we're now beginning on page 2. We'll be showing your senior does. Our first class of those animals are between 24 and 36 months of age. Again, senior does, 24 to 36 months of age.
nice class. There's not one alike out here, so you're starting to figure out which one you like, or one that has the least amount of problems or condition issues that we talk to each one. And these does should have kidded by now. We're not going by the AVGA standards, but there are some things in place that we need to talk about. The young lady that went to class, this goat comes in with the most balance, the most length of loin, the most correct on her feet and legs. Could they all have more bones? Absolutely. But this is the one that is most correct, going all the way down to the pasture, and especially at this age. Now, one thing that would be critical in the show world, in the open shows and the sanctioned shows, is the peak tail. We talked to a young lady, and we would just like to make sure that that's not a thing that we want to continue to produce. The reason they have this is because it is a cancer issue. Much like the Hereford cattle, with the goggles around the eyes on the white head, the cancer, the sun cancer, could come in and get that pink, and you would then start losing your goat's cancer. So that's the reason we want the pigmentation, the dark pigmentation throughout. But this goat is just the most complete all the way through. Congratulations. The goat that comes in second, I love the long body, the length of neck, and the really nice Roman head. She just doesn't have enough mass for me throughout, and this is one that has not yet kidded. I'd like to keep her in production if we could, or get her in production. And then we have found out the longer these goats are not in production, they start losing their fertility. And the longer we hold them back from being pregnant, then it starts cutting their years down. I don't recommend this, but we have kidded goats out at 9 months of age. They started cycling at 4 to 5 months and had kids out at 9 months. I don't recommend it, but it can happen. The thing is, the longer we wait, the more fat they put on them. And when we see the fat come out on the outside, their internal fat's already there. And so then we start losing kids in the birth canal because it's full of fat. We want to make sure they get in production by at least 18 months of age or sooner, so they can keep that fertility high, and so we don't start running into condition issues down the road. This goat here is actually the preferred condition. We just like to gets more width throughout, but still a nice doe. The goat that probably gave me the most trouble is the one here in third. This is one that breaks really hard right behind that shoulder, and the scapula really pistons coming out of that spine. I love the front end about her. She's really long and elevated, but she just does not pattern up throughout. She gets out of balance. She's got a lot of width, and she's really weak on the rear wheels. We just like to strengthen her up there. The goat that comes in fourth, this is one that just kind of gets outpowered. I'd love to see more width. She's got a lot of length of spine, really correct in that hip. We just need more width throughout the body. Still a nice doe. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together for these four. Did a great job.
Placing first is Vanessa Warwick. Second and third was Comeback Crystal Stockburger. And fourth place, Nelson Avery.
Did you see her dress?
Our last size of senior does are those 36 months of age and older. Again, senior does 36 months of age or older.
Some beer clutch, some coaches are. Other than
Oh yeah, from America's Funniest
you guys gonna be able to come down next weekend, Grand Park and pick it up. Gonna be raffle.
A nice trio for these young people out here. The one that wins the class, she just brings a lot more balance and correctness on her feet and legs. One that is not, she's not the longest spine, she is the most balanced. You analyze her on the move or standing still, she carries that head and neck really nice and tight off the top of the shoulder. That makes her more thrifty, and just love the way that blends into her spine and carries all the way back to the hip, where she actually has the most width from that hip to pin down into the hock. The goat that comes in second. This goat is just beautiful to look at. She glides across the ring. Love the way that spine is really high and tight. She's got a lot of capacity where she comes off as those pastors. We like to bring them up. The duplas we're hitting. We just like to give her some more strength there, but still a nice mature doe with a lot to offer any production today. Congratulations. The goat that comes in third. This is one that the extension is so kind of freaky how tall she is out of that front end, but then she gets short coupled in the body. I would love to see her a lot longer for how long her front end is compared to the rest of her, so she gets just a tick out of balance. And what I mean by that is from the nose to the pole, where the horns come out, is a certain length. And you can start seeing that length appear from the back of the head to the shoulder, and from the 13th rib to the hip, and then to the hip to the pin. It should be the same distance throughout. And this one just gets a little short couple how long fronted she is, but still a nice doe. Congratulations to these three. Let's put our hands together. They did a great job with these older does.
Placing first is Chelsea Avery, second Danielle Denton, and third Austin Hamlin. At this time we'll be showing for senior and reserve senior champion. Again, we're showing for senior and reserve senior champion.
Well, we need to stay true to what we've been talking about all day. The one that's most correct throughout on their feet and legs, the extension to the front end, the overall dimension, the body type. The one that stands right in front of me, she's going to be your champion today. Congratulations. It does get a little bit tighter when we start talking about the reserve senior. The one that comes at me with the most width throughout the entire body that balances up the nicest is going to be your spot today. Congratulations, you can be your reserve. Great job to all of these. Let's put our hands together for all 4 of them.
Our champion was done by Madison Wyrick. Our reserve done by Kelsey Avery. This time we have a grand champion for Doe and reserve grand champion for Doe.
Thank you. Yeah, so she just had to figure out which of Blackberry's kids she was going to show him here and which one she was saving. You can't show 3 in the same class.
Let's put our hands together for these 6. Outstanding job out here.
2 boys, a guy, and 3 girls, and we're seriously meeting up.
in the Borgo world, when we started in, our kids were just a little bit older. Now we have 9 grandbabies, and 6 of them are showing already. Last year, 3 out of the 4 that are showing has got state titles already for showmanship. And that's a big part of what's going on out here right now is showmanship. Who's going to bring their A game to this overall championship drive? And these young people have done an outstanding job in that area. There is one out here that just excels in just about every way that you can imagine for the doe. Where it gets a little tighter for me is the 2 that is in contention for reserve. The age difference is in play, and it will really depend on how they show them when I get them on the move one more time. But I have my champion already. My reserve, I need to see them in motion one more time. But this is an outstanding drive, and you can go to a lot of county fairs and not find this quality. So moms, dads, grandmas, grandfathers, young people, this doesn't happen every year. We all know that. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together as these young people are continuing to show, and I'll get your grand reserve in just a little bit.
Kelsey's going.